Hello, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful episode of the Trailblazers podcast. Today's special guest is Mrs. Archana Machan. She's been an entrepreneur in the field of education for 13 years and has been impacting lives positively in so many different ways. She is not just an entrepreneur. She's the entrepreneur who can tell you an amazing story of her journey. Somebody who is the CEO of Aspire Education Academy in the UAE, Achievers Education Limited in the UK, Mind Boosters Management Consultancy in the UAE, and EIU Regional Office Director here in the UAE, right? Thank you so much for joining us, Mrs. Archana. How are you?
I'm good. My pleasure being here, and especially with you because Miss Nousheen, you're an inspiration yourself to many women. So it's an opportunity to come. It's a good opportunity for me to come and share my experience, my journey with you.
Thank
It's
you.
my pleasure being here.
Mrs. Archana is a very passionate advocate of women empowerment. And apart from advocacy, she's also known for enabling many women who are seeking meaningful careers that lead to lasting success. And this is what we are going to discuss today. You just watch us. Let's begin with the beginning of your journey. So let's go back 13 years ago. How did you start? Why you chose education?
If we talk about going back, I would always like to start from what was my goal since my early teenage days, or you can say the childhood days. I always wanted to do something different and something that would impact the society in a positive way. Like giving back to society was something what was always in my mind. Though I was not very clear about how, what, when, and the journey went on, did my education, and after settling down, when we migrated to Dubai, UAE, that was 25 years back. And then the lifestyle, the goals, everything changed a bit because then the country was new, the mindset of people was different, didn't know anybody here, but still the goal was the same. Like I want to do something which is different and which would impact the society or empower people. And I got into teaching. Like I got a very good offer when I reached here, and in my initial months only I got into teaching. Initially, it was kind of a job which would give me a balance of managing my work and my family both. But then slowly, as I got into education, I started realizing this was the what or why I was looking for. Because I realized that there is nothing better than education to bring a positive impact in the society, to empower people, the most noble profession we can say. And it was so satisfying. Like I didn't know before I got into teaching that it would give such a high level of satisfaction when you teach young students, when you lay a foundation for them for a successful life, and the gratitude shown by the parents, the respect, the unconditional love from your students,
yes,
makes you feel so satisfied and so happy. And then I decided on this journey, like, yes, this is the way I'm going to impact society. This is the way I'm going to empower people. And this is my journey. Then I worked as a teacher for, I think, approx 10 to 11 years. And in 2013, I decided to start my own because I saw there were gaps in between wherein there were so many educators who came up with a lot of experience, a lot of degrees from different countries, but then there were some basic skills which were still lacking. And all of us as educators, we were not trained for this basic skills about handling children, about inclusive education, how we deal with the children who are different. Maybe every child is not learning on the same pace, so every child has a different pace of learning. But we were never trained intensively for these kind of things, and we used to just manage on our own. So I thought there is a gap where the educators can be trained and empowered with such skills which would ultimately benefit so many future generations.
True.
So with this vision, I started my own in the field of education. That was in 2013. I started Mind Boosters. it was education services that time because it was in Sharjah.
Okay.
And then I started initially with kids programs and stuff, skill programs and stuff like that, and diploma, a small short-term program for educators.
Right.
In course of time, then of course it took it so well because there was a gap and people were looking for
Yes.
these kind of skill-based training.
Hmm.
Educators who are already into teaching or people who are aspiring to be educators.
Hmm.
So they were so keen and it was a very positive response. And I just kept moving forward, then went on for the degree programs. I just launched degree programs and then the COVID came in actually. And it was a setback. But again, I think during these COVID times, it took on well when we went online. Before that,
Yeah.
it was all like the traditional method of classes and the physical face-to-face session.
To be honest, I'm still for the traditional method. I am still
But
for
then
it.
we were limited. Actually, when we were training educators, when we were doing physical classes, we were very limited to only few Emirates because only those ladies could travel to our center.
Yeah,
But once
okay.
we went online, we could connect to so many educators across the globe, and this is a really wonderful experience.
So you have a larger impact now.
Larger impact now. So we were able to touch and reach lives across so many countries and continents. Then
Congratulations. This is very impressive.
Yeah.
Before the COVID hit, it was still 7 years for you to make a difference. And I
Yeah.
must salute that you have actually grown into so many different institutions, not just one.
Yes.
And each one is serving people in its own ways.
Yeah.
When you say that you have Mind Boosters and then you have Aspire Education, then you are on the board for EIU, and then there is so much to do. How do you manage all these streams all in a go? You are just one person, right? And then you have some team under you, but you are the
Yes.
prime decision maker.
Yes, yes.
So how do you manage with so much on your table?
It all comes with discipline at work.
Mhm.
And a good team to support you, right? So since I was into teaching, we were so much into working on deadlines. Like, everything has to be organized, everything has to be so perfect and planned much in advance. So all these traits helped me a lot when I started my business. So initially it was only one company, but as I started going into different companies, I had to kind of, discipline myself too much into my time slots, my deadlines set. And I was more into a team building kind of thing because the team is my main support.
Right.
And I empower my team with, the creativity that they want to show. So of course there are limitations, but then I don't curb their creativity and I allow them to take small decisions on their own and put in as much as they can, which enables me to handle so much.
Yes.
And at EIU Dubai, we are a part of a university, EIU Paris. And of course, I have a wonderful team there and a business partner who also take care of so many responsibilities. So managing everything together.
I'm also a businesswoman, right? So when they meet me, they will say, so is it a family business? Is your husband also a partner in your business, or is he supporting you? I'll ask you the same conventional question. Who is behind you? Who is having your back?
See, it is not a family business, of course. I started on my own because my husband, Mr. Harish Merchant, he's totally out of education. Like he's from a paint industry and he's doing
Right.
quite well in his career. So I never wanted him to leave everything and come into education because that's not his forte. He's very good in his own area of work, scope of work. But yeah, of course, throughout the journey, throughout my initial struggles, even today, he's standing like a pillar with me, of course. The moral support he gave me is kept me going all these years through all the challenges. And my daughter, Miss Simran, even she has started working with me and supporting me for last few years after her studies. And she's becoming more stronger now, supporting both of us actually.
Very
So
good.
she's taking up so many areas of international collaborations, heading the marketing teams, heading the counselor team. And yeah, these both are my pillars and moral support who keep me going. And ultimately the divine. My trust and my faith in my divine is the ultimate supporter.
May God be with us all. So tell me more about Aspire Education. How did the idea come to you? What is the main goal of this institution?
See, when I shifted my business from Sharjah to Dubai after the COVID times, it was somehow like we were getting more positive response from Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So I decided to come into Dubai, and then due to the paperwork and the documentation that we have to go through, we had to change the name, or we had to launch one more company, which is Aspire. So Mind Booster still is there, but then we had to add on to Aspire Education. And this was started with a vision to bring in more of degree programs or master programs, because with Mind Boosters, we were more into short-term programs and diploma programs kind of. But with a higher level of degrees and even doctorate programs, then we launched Aspire Education Academy. And this is like, we don't want, the goal is basically to empower people through education, of course. So this is the basically the goal, to spread and give quality education, give access to quality education to all different nationalities, to different class of people. I don't want to keep it limited to a particular class or particular nationality. So the programs that we do are like not too expensive, like the range that
Affordable.
all of people can afford, because I believe education, quality education should have access, like even everybody should have access to quality education basically. So we don't want to limit to any nationality or class, but we want to spread it across everybody who wants to get into degrees or quality education.
So how many different disciplines are there in both institutions?
You mean the programs, different programs?
Yeah.
So no, we are not limited to any disciplines. We do everything, right from medical to engineering to AI to cybersecurity to teaching, everything. So there is nothing that we don't have. Recently, like we are an ICF accredited institution, Aspire Education I'm talking about. And we have recently partnered with 50 plus universities across different countries like US, UK, Canada, Europe. And we have everything that a person would look for. So
very impressive in terms of expansion.
Yeah.
So moving forward, when we look at both institutions, what are your major growth goals?
My major growth goal is to create an environment where anybody can, come and have an opportunity to learn and grow, basically. So it doesn't matter what country you get into or what program you get into or what fees are you getting into. I just want to create a legacy which will even go after me when I will not be here, wherein a person who is looking for qualifications or opportunity to learn and grow should be freely able to walk into Aspire and ask for it. Yeah. And also one more goal is to build in a strong team which will keep working if even I'm not there to lead them. So the efficient team and a place of trust and quality where people will come in for any kind of education qualifications they're looking for, so that they grow and thrive in their life, basically.
Yes, definitely. You will need a good business structure in place.
Of course. Yeah.
You will need an organizational model on which you will build the entire system so that it becomes resilient and it continues running on its own also.
So I'm into building the procedures, into structures, into team, which has almost been done, but we keep on enhancing it, because as we know that AI is into picture nowadays, and everything has to be aligned as per the latest trends, what it is. So this is like an ongoing process. So we keep on changing ourselves, make us better every year, every few months when new things come into. So yeah, this is an ongoing process.
What have been some of the very strong challenges that you have faced in your career so far as an entrepreneur?
Being an entrepreneur, to tell it like in a very simple language, is like a roller coaster ride.
It is, yeah.
Roller coaster ride where you're constantly up and down. Challenges will never end, basically. Lot of challenges. So that is the reason, like I always, whenever somebody comes and talks to me about being an entrepreneur or being about what business to start, or I want to start on my own, I always try to share this experience that start something of your own which you are desperately passionate about. So
Okay.
just don't start something because somebody is telling you or somebody is doing it and you see somebody else earning too much into that particular area. It won't work for you if you're not passionate and you don't have sufficient knowledge of that particular subject, basically. So yeah, work experience and subject knowledge, very important. But then being passionate will keep you going. You will never give up. So when
Right.
I was passionate that this is my how and why and I want to grow in this field, there were so many challenges and so many ups and downs, literally on a verge. Sometimes it was a time like everybody around me used to give up, like, my family, my friend, leave it. Like, why you want to go through this? Like, just leave it. But I never gave it up because it was my purpose. It is my passion. And I knew from my heart, even till date, I'm facing challenges. Not that we are not facing challenges now, but I know I'll be successful because deep in my heart, I know if I keep on consistently doing it without giving up, it's going to work. So you need very strong determination, very strong mind, and you need to keep going, never to give up attitude.
I truly appreciate this. It's very inspiring. Um, Running an educational institution must have many challenges, right? And this is what we've just talked about.
Yeah.
What makes it grow? Is it just the finance? Is it just the number of students? Is it your internal motivation? Is it your sense of purpose? Or there is something else?
Actually, if we talk about education business, it's not about the numbers. It's more about how many lives you can touch.
Right.
That's very important. And you touch somebody when you're very truthful and honest to yourself and to the other person and build up that trust, the trust factor. So many of my students usually tell me, ma'am, like the more blessings you earn, than the money you're earning, we guess, right? So it's like, the purpose, of course, is very important because without purpose, if you start something or if you're leading a life without purpose, it's like a journey without a destination.
Yes.
So you're just walking through the path, but you don't know where you want to reach. So ultimately, you don't reach anywhere. So it has to be strong, purpose driven, of course. That keeps you going and that makes your why or how very easy to go along with and face challenges. But it is the trust factor and it is the number of lives you can touch in a positive way that matters more when it comes to education compared to other business. So yeah, commercial aspect is important, as we know, but for education specifically, it's not only the commercial aspect you can look into. So when you are into passionate about making change, a positive change in the life of your students, help them grow, be successful in their lives, ultimately the commercial factors start working in anyway. So it is not about the numbers, but it is about the lives you touch, as much as lives you can change in a positive way. And that is a meaningful impact for me, actually, a long lasting impact.
I was about to ask you, what does impact mean to you?
Impact is something meaningful and long lasting in a person's life that I can give to the person, basically. So that would be impact for me, because it's not about only one degree, because with this degree the student is going to be very successful, he's going to get his career go ahead and he's going to be very happy, his family is going to happy. So one person we facilitate with a good qualification and help and support them, is going to make one family happy, right? It's going to make a lot of difference to that person's family as well. So I remember long back, it was the initial days when I started the short term programs for teachers, like the diploma programs. And I remember one of the student, and she had just shared with me, like after the program, we had supported her to get placed in a school, and she just started her job. And like the first salary that she got, she just came with the sweets and all to thank me, and she was literally into tears. And she told me, "Ma'am, you don't know the way you have touched my life, because it's a very small thing, but then it touches to you, it goes inside, like touches you inside." Because what she shared is, before this, like before the program she did with us and before she started working, she was at home, she was a mom at home. And she said that even if I wanted to buy a small thing for my child, I used to be dependent on somebody. It can be a toy for a 10 dirham toy or a 20 dirham toy. I used to be depending financially on my husband or somebody. If they pay, I can buy for my child. And that used to give me so much frustration that I can't buy anything for my child on my own. And I'm dependent even for this small thing. But with my first salary, the first thing is I bought something for my child, and it gave me a sense of achievement, so much happiness I cannot express. So this is a very small thing, but I could never forget that. Like that one short-term program and one normal job, a beginning, like she was just an intern in a school, but even that could give so much happiness to somebody. That could build up so much confidence in somebody and make the family happy as well.
Education does bring independence.
Yes,
It does
independence.
empower people. That is why it's one of the noblest discipline, let me say it,
Yes.
or area of our life. That's
Yeah.
why education is always needed. And we prefer to be lifelong learners. That's the whole thing.
Yes, we are still learning, actually.
How future ready are your institutions? What are you developing to make sure that they stay in business, they do well, and they continue to make the impact?
See, basically, we are trying to bring in new programs which are more aligned to the future ready skills, kind of like AI, for example. So, different training programs related to AI, cybersecurity, and we are trying to bring in, partnering with more and more universities and bring in programs in the UAE and GCC region, which are more aligned from the futuristic skills, basically. So everything is going to be AI and more of technology coming in. So we are also expanding and bringing more programs which are related to these kind of AI and futuristic skills. And also we are trying to diversify because most of the programs are all theory based. So we are trying to bring in programs which are theory plus more focus on skills, because this is one of the biggest challenge as entrepreneurs we always face in the HR. Like we hire a team, like people with experience and qualifications, but most of the times I see the skills needed for the job are not sufficient.
Because they get the CVs done. I'm sorry I'm saying this, you guys, but really, they get the CVs done and then...
so the skills, I think, have to be focused more on. So because in future, of course, the world is going to be more competitive, the job market is going to be more competitive. So to survive in the upcoming future job market, we have to focus more on the skills where you stand out of the crowd. Yeah. So we are trying to bring in programs where a student not only gets the theoretical part, knowledge part, but also the skills required for that particular job, because that is going to help them sustain the future market, like the job market.
That is good. You're enabling them for the future.
Yeah.
As you have mentioned that since AI has intervened in every sector, and is perhaps one of the most popular skills at the moment, everybody wants to be qualified with it, be able to use it to their advantage. How is it affecting education sector? Because now students can go to any of those AI devices or programs and find the kind of information knowledge they need.
Actually,
do they still need the teachers? Is AI going to replace teachers and trainers?
This one thing I would like to tell, that AI will impact everything, even education. I'm not saying no, because when I used to teach, we never used the slides or not much of slides and screen sharing kind of stuff. We were all into literally sitting with the children and reading books for them, making props with our own, on our own for the children to play. So that was many years back. Maybe that is 13 to 14 years back. But of course, in all these years, it has changed a lot. Now I think it is more of digital screen, more of slide sharing and all this stuff. So I think technology is going to be a part of education, and it has to be, because even the children have to be ready for tomorrow. So even they have to be aligned with the technology part. But how much ever technology comes, and we have to include technology, I'm not denying, but the impact of a teacher teaching children, I don't think can be ever replaced by any technology. So that it has to be a balance of both when it comes to education. Because it's not only about learning, because as students, whatever grade the students are, the teachers are the role models. They get that inspiration, which they cannot be taking from an AI, right? So they will get all the knowledge, but where do they get inspiration from? Where do they get that motivation? Where do they get the role models from? Of course, on AI, there are still, they can find people online, and we also find so many people online and get motivated. But then the real experience is something different. And
I spent 7 years of my
Mhm.
life in education
Mhm.
teaching students of different age groups because I was inspired by my own professor.
Mhm.
And she inspired me to take up this profession. And for that, I spent 7 years doing it and I truly enjoyed it.
Mhm.
Although I'm not much of a person who will speak too much, but really, I enjoyed it. And I believe that I was able to inspire more children
Mhm.
into finding their best selves and understanding themselves better.
And especially when we talk about very young children, I mean, the kindergarten, the lower primary, and primary, those kids in that age group, of course, they don't have that exposure online.
Yeah.
They don't understand things what they will search, and they cannot, of course, learn online on their own. They always need a hand holding.
They need care.
They need care. They
Yeah.
need that nurturing. So when I was teaching in the beginning of my career, I was a kindergarten teacher, and like there's so many ways of different ways of controlling children. We all know that 4 5 year old kids are so hyper, and I used to see, and I used to be guided by my seniors to keep them very strict and very disciplined, and so that they listen to us as teachers. But what I tried and invented was, the more care, the more love and nurture you give them, the more controllable they are. Actually, they are ready to just listen to what ma'am is saying. So I had a routine, like when the kids used to enter the classroom, I used to be at my classroom door, and it used to be a routine kind of, that they will give a warm hug and they enter the class. And when we started practicing this, that warmth, that hug, that closeness, and my class after that used to be an ideal class. I got my best teacher award twice in my career. And when there used to be a new group of teachers joining in school, they used to be said, the management used to send them to my class to come and observe how a classroom should be, basically.
Wow.
So it was something very opposite
Amazing.
what I was told to do, and I tried something else, and that actually worked well.
Very
Actually
nice.
worked well. So AI we are talking about is true. Children have to learn that, but nothing can replace this. The nurturing, the warmth, the love that as a teacher you give to your students, and they're so close to you. They are inspired by you, and they minutely observe and they follow everything that we do, and that's an impact on their life. It's a lifelong impact, actually.
Yes.
So these certain things cannot be ever replaced, I guess. So it's not only about teaching. It's not only into, like, kindergarten or younger children. Even with your team, even with my team, yeah, we follow all the technology and the digital marketing and stuff like that. But end of the day, if you're not connecting with your team, there is no empathy when they are in some problems, or being kind to them. We hand holding them sometimes, because they make mistakes sometimes.
Yeah.
So for me, like, leadership, I don't know if you're going to ask that, but for me,
I'm going to.
leadership is not about being aggressive, not about dominating and being a dictator kind of leader. But for me, it is like building a team together. And frankly speaking, for me, my office is like my home, my place of worship, and my team is like my second family. So they also face their problems. There are personal issues sometimes, so I'm there to support them. I'm there with my students. So many, like, we have 2,000 plus students now, and I'm connected to most of them. So sometimes even I go out of my way to help them in their personal issues, their personal problems. So it is a balance of both. On one hand, we have to be professional, we have to have our deadlines and the technology in place, but still, even with your team, even with your students, the bond of trust, the bond that I am there for you, I'll stand for you, makes lot of difference in their performance. So if you're just very commercial or very mechanical, like, okay, this is your deadline and I'm just going to pay you end of the month, I don't think it will be that output what I'm getting now. So when I treat them as a family, they also go out of their way to bring in that for my company.
Right.
So that commitment. And recently I had watched a YouTube video. I won't like to name the person, but he's a multimillionaire from Gujarat into diamonds, and it's
Now
like
everybody will know.
so in Gujarat there are so many diamond business people. But then I was so surprised to see he was like, he has been gifting cars to his employees. I think it is 9,000 plus employees something, cars on Diwali and festivals, like a bonus. Out of the way, he is going and tour packages for his family, for his in-laws, the employee. And then when I was wondering, like, why would he do so? Like, what's the purpose, like, the bottom line of this? So when I just watched his video, like his interview, and then he said that he had people working for him round the clock for 30 years, 35 years, not a single holiday without reason, and so much commitment and so much hard work, and because of that he is what he is today. And he tells this comes because I considered their family as my family. I looked after, like, somebody's son needs fees to be paid. So he had paid fees for so many people. And he said, I have been gifting them, being generous to them, their families. Now they're so bound to me, like, they cannot think of leaving and going. And then the same commitment comes from their side. So this is what I think leadership is all about, because he's so successful today. Like, if we see, if you, I don't know if I should name, but the house is like a palace. And then it's like, I think more than 7,000 crores of export is what he's doing, right?
He's very successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is what leadership is all about. So I was very inspired, and of course I'm doing the same on the same line. I'm not able to give cars as such now, but yeah, that shows the bottom line is the more empathy, the more bonding, the more kindness you show with your students, your customers, and your team, the more you are successful.
I'm willing to be hired by you.
You're most welcome to join hands. Yeah.
So definitely, that was his way of expressing gratitude and for the loyalty, for their commitment, for all the services that they offered him over the years.
Yeah.
And honestly, such dedicated and committed team members are a gift from God.
Yes.
They are irreplaceable, and they definitely deserve a lot of gratitude.
Yes.
I'm waiting for this moment when you will hire and then give me those wonderful gifts.
Sure.
When it came to assisting people in building their careers,
Yeah.
because on careers depend our life, what was the major motivation inside?
As I told earlier, like in the beginning of our interview, the motivation was always to bring a meaningful and positive change in somebody's life. So, yeah, as a part of gratitude. So, like the divine I believe in, the power I believe in, is always emphasized on the more gratitude you show to the universe or to the divine, the more success you get it. Like, so whatever the divine has blessed me with, I always wanted to give it back and show that gratitude.
Yeah.
So when he has given me a good, decent life, the motivation is to give as much as I can to other people, help them to make their lives beautiful, wonderful, successful, going ahead. Basically.
Yes, very true.
Yeah.
What is the biggest obstacle the youth of today is facing, even when it comes to selecting a career? I will repeat the question now. What is the biggest obstacle today's youth is facing in selecting a career to build their future? Because we see that AI will be affecting so many different jobs in the future, right? We know that it is there to facilitate and to make sure that work is easier for us, but still there are so many people who will be out of jobs. So what is this obstacle? How can the youth overcome it?
One thing I can notice now is in our days, we didn't have much of a choice of programs. It was like few divisions, but now we have so many programs, so many different fields where the student can go in for. And this is a bit confusing for the young generation because it's too much for them to choose from, basically. And one more thing, what I observe is most of the parents, they want certain career paths for their children, and the children are literally guided to move into those paths. So one thing I would like to suggest, that before selecting any career or any subject or any degree what you want to, just check inside if you're passionate about that. Just don't go for it because your parents are telling you to, or because there's a social pressure. Whatever you like to do. So there is nothing like a particular field you're going to be successful and in another you cannot. It's nothing like that. It is about whatever field you choose, how passionate you are about will makes you successful.
Yes.
So I think this is a limitation, because people in society have already divided, like if somebody is a doctor or an engineer, they are going to do very well. It's yeah, they are doing well, but it's not that a lecturer doesn't do well, right? So somehow when I started this degree program for educators, most of our students, 60 to 70% of the students have done their engineering, have done their MBAs, and so many different fields, and then ultimately they come to teaching. And I used to really wonder, many students, they had a good pay package, they went to corporates, and then they had come to teaching. Of course, to balance the family life was one of the major thing, but then I used to just interact and ask them, what made you come? Like, you did an MBA, you must be passionate about business or business management or some subject. So most of them used to answer like, we were never even given an opportunity to select. It was a social pressure, it was a pressure from the parents or the society that they have to go in a particular field for whatever obvious reasons and the mindset people had, and they never actually wanted to go for it, and they were passionate about teaching. So then and then they did very well as teachers. Actually, I used to wonder, like, she has done an engineering, will she be really able to teach? And then of course we trained them a lot. We placed them for internships, but then certain students have got excellent teacher awards as well.
Wow.
So that shows that if she was passionate for teaching, and she did very well in teaching and not the engineering or MBA what she actually pursued. So this is one thing, like, they have a lot of things today, lot of available programs, but then they have to select what actually touches them, like, what they are passionate about is one important thing. And another thing is, whatever degree or whatever program or qualification they take in, always support it with some experience, work experience, because then the skills and the work experience matters a lot, of course, as well. So if you're just having a degree and all the knowledge from the book, and then you go into the job market, you stand nowhere. So always, I think students should try to take some work experience along with the degree, so that ultimately when they complete their qualification, they have opportunities for good jobs and good opportunities.
Yes, very true. So you are recommending students to make sure that they are doing internships during their
yes, or jobs,
educational.
whatever opportunity they get for the work exposure, I mean.
This is a good suggestion. Apart from this, what other skills do you believe are required for them before they enter the modern workforce?
Communication skills, of course, is very important. Because I've seen many talented people around me, like extremely talented, lot of knowledge, very committed, but they are not very good in their communication skills.
Right.
They cannot express things in an appropriate way. Some, they are less confident to speak, and because of these reasons, they have not done very well that they deserve actually in life. So of course communication skills is very important. So when we talk about communication skills, is a wide area. Then it's like not only the language that you speak, but talking a right thing, speaking a right thing at the right time to the right person, convincing people, counseling people, making them understand your point of view. So there are so many areas what actually it is important to work on. And another thing is, like, no shortcuts. The mindset I see generally, because now the generation, everything is available on Google. So, generally people are into, like, I'll start this and I'll get success in 2 years, I'll get success in 3 years. No. So I'll always suggest, don't try to find out the shortcut ways is one important thing. If you want to be successful, achieve something, be prepared to work long years and work very hard, face all the challenges. It's not easy. Nothing comes easy. There is always a price to pay. This is one important thing. And one more important thing is, like, communication skills and the hard work and the long-term goals is what they have to look in. Short-term gains never work. So maybe some people are very fast, they use technology, they earn a lot of money, but if you don't have a long-term vision or a long-term goal, you will earn very good, but you will disappear after some time. So always think long-term, always aim at long-term goals. Short-term gains will automatically follow, I guess so. and think out of the box is
Hmm.
very, very rare, very rare.
What does it really mean? Everybody is saying, think out of the box, think out of the box.
Think
How do
out,
we think? I think somebody has to tell us how to think out of the box.
think out of the box in simple words is dare to do what nobody does. So take a step.
Right.
Just a small example, like I see most of the people, I'm not judging anybody here, just my opinions, because
Hmm.
see, something which is not right for me might be right for somebody else. But what I observed is just my experience I'm sharing is most of the people, the aim is to get a job, a decent job,
Yeah.
and that's all. They don't want to enhance their learning. They stop learning because many people come to us like they're working professionals, and they straight away ask, like, we just want a degree, we don't want knowledge, we are working for 12 years and we are not interested in getting more knowledge in this area now, and we just want to get a degree. So of course we don't do that. So we tell them that knowledge is never enough. So you have been working for last 12 years, but what we are going to teach is going to make you better for the future, like for the future jobs, kind of. So knowledge is like, there is no age or no limit to knowledge. So of course we don't do that. But this shows the mindset, like, it's all short term gains what people are looking for. And people, um, out of the box, what I was talking about is, are only happy and satisfied with a average kind of job or whatever life they are leading, and they're so scared to step out of that.
Because they're getting this steady returns of what they're doing so
Yeah,
steadily.
yeah.
So
So thinking different from others, nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to be with the flow. So everybody around me in my family, my cousins, my everybody is doing this. So I'm safe doing this. I don't know to get out of this. So people are scared to step into unknown, different career, switch on in your career, migrating to different countries, taking a step. You know, there are calculated risk. I'm not telling like we just take a decision like that and move on to something. There are calculated risk, but there you have to take some risk if you want to really grow and be successful. If you're happy with your life, whatever, it's fine. But if you really want to be successful, it has to be the risk factor. The higher the risk, the more successful you are. So yeah, thinking out of the box is trying to take that courage to step out of your mindset, whatever you're happy with currently, and try something innovative, try something different, not to be in the flow like what everybody is doing, basically.
you've been a very powerful pillar when it comes to women empowerment. You have worked with so many women who wanted to achieve financial independence,
Yeah.
and you have assisted them through quality education and very affordable prices to have a
Yeah.
life that they always wanted to have.
Yeah.
Do you believe women empowerment is no longer needed?
No, it's not like that. It is not about women, I would specifically say, but empowerment is still needed for every individual who needs a hand holding, every individual who is looking for a support, that he is looking for a right guidance to make it in life. And it's for all human beings, not being biased, but specifically why about women? Because from the culture we come from, like still there are parts, certain regions, and certain mindset of like certain people who still have that mindset that it's not good for a woman to be financially independent, or so. It's surprising in the 21st century, like the century we're living in, but still there are people and there are families like that. And such the ladies or the women who come from such backgrounds really need that hand holding still. So it's
Right.
not only about women also, but otherwise also, like I've seen for our MBA and BBA business programs and other programs, we will also have male students who have been brought up with the mindset, like that no, this is your limit and you can't go beyond this. And whereas
Right.
I see they are quite talented and quite skillful. So yeah, we can empower even men, even male. It's all about being human beings who need empowerment, who need support, who need guidance if they really want to make it good in life, make it better in life.
Right.
And for women it is a bit challenging, a bit more. I'm not comparing, but then the responsibilities of being a mother, of being a daughter-in-law, of being a wife is and along with your profession is a bit challenging, and they really need somebody to boost that courage and give them that confidence that if I can do, you can do it too. So many of my students, like so many of them, I forgot the count, and they come and ask me like, ma'am, how did you manage this phase when kids were so young, like infants? a lot of expectations from the families, from the extended families, and balancing the traditional culture. Because how much ever, the culture I come from, how much ever financially independent I am, or I want whatever amount I want, but end of the day at home, there are some responsibilities and duties as a wife, or as a daughter-in-law,
Yes.
as a mother, which I still fulfill even today. Some religious events that we do at home. So these things cannot be ignored and cannot be neglected. But at the same time, you have to grow in your profession. So there's a perfect balance which we are expected to, and many women struggle with this. So when I share my experiences and I give them a right path, how to balance this and go further, it's really inspiring for them. So
They get courage
they get
from the
courage.
stories that they
Yes,
hear.
and the real example. So
Yeah.
when they look at me, that when I can do, then they say, yes, ma'am, if you can do, why can't we? We will also try our best to do that, right? So because there is one more notion I've I've generally seen is very funny, but when people generally see women who are financially independent and especially into business, I don't know, indirectly somehow they always feel that maybe she's a single lady. Or this is a question, I don't know, indirectly, most of the people ask me, like, oh, do you have your husband here? Like, I don't know, they're so anxious. So this is one very big misconception or wrong notion, that a financially independent woman, or and somebody who is doing business on her own, will not be doing her family responsibilities, or maybe not very good at home, kind of, and that's why she's independent. It's nothing like that. So a woman can be successful, a woman can be successful in career, but at the same time, she can be an excellent mom, an excellent wife. It's all about time management.
Yes.
It's all about your hard work and dedication, and it's all about if you want to do it from your heart.
Very true. I agree
Yeah.
with this 100%.
Mhm.
It is true. As a leader, what is your vision?
As a leader, my vision is to build in more companies like that.
Okay.
And bring in very efficient teams, of course, and build a legacy, which will, of course, keep working even if I am not here tomorrow, like in future. So building strong teams, building proper procedures and process, where this companies and this legacy still continues to go on, and people will still have more options to come and get good qualifications, basically. And as a leader, as I expressed before, like, I want to build good communities of students and team members, but never in a way where people feel unsafe, people feel offended, or people are let down. In a way where the students and my team members always look up to me for support, for empathy, for inspiration, and regard me as their mentor, or maybe a part of their family. So I want to build, as a leader, I want to create an environment where there is a sense of trust and mutual bonding, basically.
Thank you for sharing your views with us. I want to know one message that you wish to give to the youth.
I think I'll be repeating myself here again. One message is, yeah, don't look for shortcuts. One important thing. If you really want to make it in life, think of long term goals. Start with something small, with something practical. Not necessary that you start spending or investing too much. You can start with something small. Even we are talking about education program, not necessarily that if you have done a degree only through a very highly ranked university, you're going to be successful. Nothing like that. So be it a business venture, a project you want to start, or you want to invest in a qualification, you can start with something very small, very practical, which you can really afford, not only financially but otherwise also, like your time, your energy, everything. But always have a long term goal and a vision. So that is one important thing. Another thing, what I see in the youth today is, it's not their fault, because the world is all towards technology and AI. So they're constantly on chat GPT and AI, and it's all the technical stuff. And I see they are losing that touch of kindness and empathy and that sense of bonding. So I always like to tell them that balance is the key to success. So on one hand, where we are growing towards more of technology and AI, but that doesn't mean we forget our roots or our ground. So we have to grow technology wise, but we should always be grounded, and we should always follow the values, the morals, what our parents and our ancestors have given us. So, and the human touch cannot replace, any technology cannot replace that. So always balance both. So technology on one hand, but yeah, empathy, the human bonding also matters a lot, going a long way, basically.
Yes, this is
Yeah.
very useful. What advice would you like to give to entrepreneurs today?
All entrepreneurs or only women entrepreneurs?
That's your choice. You can split into two also if you want.
I think the challenges are almost the same
Yes.
when it comes to the gender. It's not much difference actually. It's almost the same, but the advice is like, there'll be, when you start something, take your first step. It can be anything, your first job, your first migration to different country, your first business project, anything that you take your first step in. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be
Yes.
easy. It's not going to give you immediate results. There will be times when everybody around you will tell that you're wrong and don't take this forward. There will be times when people around will criticize you. Nobody will tell what you're doing is good or encouraging. There might be times like that. I'm not saying everybody would face that, but there might be times like that. Whatever comes, like, whatever happens, don't give up. Don't give up in your purpose. Don't give up in what your dreams are. Don't give up or, on your goals. So there will be very harsh times when everybody will put you down, and sometimes you'll feel you're all alone. Am I doing the right thing? But if your heart says you're right, if the divine you believe in gives you that inspiration, then don't stop. Be unstoppable. Because nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. I see most of the people around me, whenever I talk to people, do this, do that. No, 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 this is not possible. I cannot do this. I have this. There is nothing that is impossible if you really want to do it. So if you believe in something, just make it possible. Whatever comes, don't give up. So if nobody around you is cooperating with you, your divine, your conscience, you are with yourself. So, be brave enough to still keep going.
So, what is success?
See, for me, success, I would not deny the fact, like, of course, financial and commercial gains do matter for your success. Worldwide, when the world looks at you as a successful person, there are certain expectations. So that there are societal norms, which of course we have to achieve for being successful. But for me personally, if I tell, in addition to the financial part, I would always think, if I'm successful if I touch as many lives as I can, which is my goal basically. So if I can touch and change lives, being positive impact on as many people as I can across different countries, across different communities, that would be success for me. So
Awesome.
that's the reason I'm diversifying and I'm expanding my business to different countries now so that I can achieve this goal.
I wish you all the best. This is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you for inviting me here. It was such a pleasure. Wonderful experience.
It is my pleasure to have this conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.